I want to fix World of Warcraft in one big move. Bring back impact per action and bring back threat. Basically, right now World of Warcraft feels like a spam clicking theme park. You hit buttons, a lot of them, constantly, to the point where I actually get tired in my fingers. And so I want to discuss this topic right here because I believe we can actually fix World of Warcraft, or at least make it better. To me, this matters a lot, so I'm gonna take my time and follow through and talk about this topic properly. I want to talk about what old World of Warcraft got right. If we go back to World of Warcraft Classic, and now everyone is gonna be like, another video where you talk about World of Warcraft Classic, absolutely amazing. I want to bring up a class, actually two classes. If we look at the warrior, you need the patience to wait for the auto attack, and every time you wait for the auto attack, you get your little reward, and you get to see if it crits as well. The auto attack also has a impact on the target that you're attacking, percentage wise. If we 100% is the full HP, and let's say it does 7% of the target's HP. Then you build up rage once again, practicing your attention here or patience, and then you get to spend that. So you get rewarded for waiting, and then you do a bigger impact. So compared to no action input, and compared to your action input, just one button, maybe you do a strike that uses your rage and deals 25% of the target's HP. Your action did 3 times the amount of damage that you would have done without your action. In retail, maybe some abilities can do 25%, but since you're constantly spamming them, the actual impact per input from you gets lowered. The point here is that you will need to wait to build up rage, you will have to wait for a proc, and you might even have to wait for a crit. And since the game was actually dangerous back then, this would be deciding factors for if you maybe could win the fight, if it was an easy fight, and basically it would determine how rewarding the fight is. And so your inputs matter a lot, because if the enemies are difficult to defeat, your abilities or decisions could impact if you win the fight or not, and that's a really big deal. And if you look at retail World of Warcraft, that's simply just lacking, because I can bind all of my attack abilities on my retail retribution paladin on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and just have all buttons pressed at the same time, mash it with my hand, and that would be enough to basically do everything that I would need in the game. Like I could even do basic raiding and shit like that, just mashing all of the buttons at the same time. Logging back into the old World of Warcraft and getting in, I realized that the mobs were a lot harder, so my decisions actually mattered. It's not that difficult in the beginning, but I realized that there were a lot of scenarios. For example, in one quest, there was a quest mob that was more difficult than the regular mobs, and 2 regular mobs. So 3 mobs in total, and I couldn't even defeat 2 mobs at the same time, and now they threw a challenge at me, 3 mobs. So I could decide, would I wait for another play or see if we could group up and do it? Or did I accept the challenge to see if I could defeat these mobs? And I accepted the challenge, and I tried to figure out ways to defeat them. I tried to, CC one of the mobs and kill the other ones. Meanwhile, that didn't work, and I had to run away. I came up with a strategy of I pull the mobs, run away, keep attacking one of them, so the other ones would run back, and I killed one at a time. And that worked out very well, but that was such a fun moment and a fun memory. If I think about retail, I can't even remember fights when I was leveling or something similar like that. When leveling this rogue in vanilla or classic, I can remember clearly. It was this like, shit, I'm in danger here. Like my actions have consequences and my input matters. Basically, what we need in the game is for our actions to matter. That's basically all it has to do. But when you can mash all buttons at the same time and just plow through any mobs, there is no tension, there is no risk, just a waterfall of numbers. You can pull 10 mobs and just spam all the buttons and you'll kill them. You could say that your actions have no consequences, but it also means that your actions doesn't matter. There's no meaning behind any of this. They might say that the reward is the loot, and that might be true to some degree, but actually the reward is defeating the difficult enemy. That is the real reward. Like when I had to pull those 3 mobs and the challenge was to defeat the quest mob and I figured out a way to do it. Now I'll just remember that. Like I defeated that challenge with the tools that I had at my disposal. My actions mattered, the way I played mattered, and it was just a lot of fun. So what I think they need to fix is 2 things. We have first, satisfying combat. Basically impact per action. Every ability should feel like it matters. There needs to be some type of build-up and a payoff. So when we look at it like this, it's also about patience and letting the simulation run. That's one thing that we never see in World of Warcraft today. They don't let the simulation run because you just gotta spam like constantly, and there is no time for you to sit and watch. Like when I played my Retribution Paladin back in the day, like I did everything that I could as well as I could, but at the end of the day I would still have to sit there and wait, like, okay, now I hit my auto attack, the mob hits its auto attack, and I would have to let the simulation run, and I could just enjoy it because I would like simulate it in my brain, like, okay, this is gonna happen in the future. If this happens, I'll have to do this. And I would kind of prepare and, you know, min-max and optimize within that playstyle, basically. That just doesn't happen in retail because you're constantly spamming. Like, okay, can I min-max this? Like spam. And there's no, like, you don't sit and actually enjoy the game at all and watch it play out. Sometimes I'm like watching my action bar more than I'm actually watching the game because I have to see that, you know, I click it optimally whenever stuff is off cooldown or whatever. It's such a shitty system. Second, we need a real threat. The world needs to fight back. Pull too many, you die. Mismanage a fight, basically click the wrong buttons, your actions have consequences, you die. Suddenly, that crit actually saves you. That cooldown becomes a lifeline, not just a DPS boost. That's just so important, thinking about that sentence. Maybe you're playing a rogue and you're coming up against an enemy and you have the cooldown, you know, that guarantees a critical hit, and that'll be your only chance in defeating this mob or in PvP or whatever, and you line it up perfectly, you do the crit, you follow up with another crit and you're lucky and you manage to kill the enemy. That just wouldn't happen in retail World of Warcraft. You'd be constantly spamming and checking your action bars or whatever. I have a very fond memory when I look back. So it's I'm not the biggest World of Warcraft nerd or whatever, so I don't know all the zones, but there's a zone pretty close to Stormwind or wherever. I think you walk right, and if you walk through some caves or mountains or whatever, you come into a high level zone and there's some dragon flying around. You guys probably know the zone. Anywho, I was in there questing and I was like exploring. This was before the Burning Crusade, I believe. I wasn't very old. I still remember it to this day. I was just in there questing, killing mobs, leveling up, and I was like, holy shit, there's a dragon over there. And I was like, I clicked it and the level was a skull. And I was like, holy shit, this is scary. And I remember like, oh, I wonder how close I can get without getting killed. And I was like getting closer and getting closer, and the landscape was changing. There was fire and lava and shit and whatnot, and I was getting closer and closer, and then suddenly I accidentally pulled the mob and I was running like crazy all the way, you know, away from there. It was just like the world was an adventure and it was dangerous. And here's the thing today, it's a topic for another video with scaling, but scaling removed that completely. Then I could fight, grind, level up, and then you know what I did? I came back and I killed that dragon later. You know, that is just, oh my god, it's so good when you can do it like that. But all of that is just missing. The entire soul of the game is just gone. The button presses don't matter, and neither does the world. That's the real reason World of Warcraft feels empty today. Fix that and we don't need nostalgia, we just need danger and meaning to our actions.